As we wrap up 2024, we're taking a look back at this year's top 5 stories.
So picture this. You're just 14 years old, you're getting into an Uber, assuming the driver is taking you to the right place, taking you home. But then you realize you're actually heading in the opposite direction. This unsettling experience became all too real for a Dauphin County student who says her Uber driver told her he was headed towards his house instead. CBS 21's Kennedy Miller has this exclusive story.
4 times. That's how often the 14-year-old told her Uber driver he was headed in the wrong direction. But despite that, she says he still kept driving until she finally had enough. Now, she didn't want to go on camera, but she's still sharing her story with us. On May 27th, the 14-year-old stuck to her usual routine. She ordered an Uber to her stepfather's house. Little did she know this day would be unlike any other when her Uber driver decided to do the unthinkable.
We got close towards up the hill from Walmart, and he decided to stop and then turn around and start going towards the city, but that's the opposite.
The young girl was now stuck in a moving car with a complete stranger, uncertain where they were headed.
He mentioned that he lived uptown, and I was just like, okay.
Terrified about what might happen next, but determined to make it home safe, the 14-year-old made a swift choice. As soon as the driver made his next stop, she jumped out.
When I knew I had to get out, I was kind of panicking, but at the same time, I knew I was in a serious situation, so I had to think quick and get out.
She then walked all the way to her dad's house. Her family says they're just happy she made it back home safe. However, not every family is as fortunate. If you can recall, back in 2019, Samantha Josephson, a student at the University of South Carolina, was murdered after getting into the wrong Uber.
There was a car that pulled up, was going around in circles looking for a victim, and Samantha got into the car and she wasn't seen again. She was kidnapped and murdered.
The tragedy pushed Josephson's parents to advocate for legislation to make rideshare services safer. Known as Sammy Law, or Stop, Ask, Watch, and Inform, the bill was signed by President Joe Biden January of last year. It aims to address safety requirements for passengers and drivers using ride-sharing apps, something the 14-year-old tells me her driver failed to do.
If you don't do the safety features before getting into the car, then it's really too late, right? So that's why we actually started the foundation, so that this doesn't happen again, because it is the worst nightmare for us.
In 2017 and 2018, Uber's safety report revealed close to 6,000 allegations of sexual violence or assault involving drivers. 3,000 of those incidents happening in 2018 alone.
So we know that it's very bad. It's drastically changing. It's increasing. It's still happening to this day.
Since Samantha's passing, their message remains clear, and that's taking extra safety steps to prevent tragedies.
You know, I wish someone had done it before us, so that Sammy could still be here with us today.
And as for the 14-year-old, well, she's spreading her own crucial message for those considering taking an Uber in the future.
I would say don't get in one, but if you have to, just stay off your phone and watch where you're going and pay attention to make sure he's going the right way.
And the young girl's mother and I have reached out to Uber to see if the driver is still working for the company, but we have not heard back yet. In the studio, Kennedy Miller, CBS 21 News.
In Harrisburg, a St. Margaret Mary school teacher is at the center of a lawsuit.
An 8-year-old student's parents alleged 20 inches of their daughter's hair was cut without permission. Thank you for joining us at 10. I'm Jasmine Brooks.
I'm Joel D. Smith. So we're going to head to Hallie Jacobs now, who had a chance to talk to those parents. What exactly did they have to say about all this?
So today, while I was talking with them, they are very emotional over their daughter's hair being cut and the lack of response from the school. They say her hair was cut at this school behind me during music class.
They should have never touched her. They should have never touched her. They should have never touched her.
She was playing with a friend sitting on the floor like crisscross applesauce, and when she tilted her head got stuck on the piece of Velcro.
Her parents say this happened November 17th last year. They say after the teachers couldn't remove the Velcro, the 8-year-old asked them to cut the Velcro out. However, Julia and Darren Smith are wondering why an adult would listen to a child instead of calling her parents first.
It was cut in front of her classmates. It was made to be a spectacle. She had to apologize when they cut her hair.
Her hair had never been cut before, and they say her long hair was part of her identity. The Harrisburg family claims the teacher's actions violated Title VI of the Civil Rights Act and the school's handbook. They say they filed the lawsuit after getting little response from the school and after accommodations they requested were ignored.
Essentially, the principal told me that they didn't follow any protocol, and that the course of events shouldn't have unfolded the way that they did.
They say they couldn't get her to speak about what happened until 4 days after, when they took her to the hair salon.
When the stylist brought out the shears and explained to her, like, okay, we're going to trim your ends, she was ready to hop out of the chair. She was like, no, I don't want you to do what my music teacher did to me.
Her parents say she's in therapy.
She just kept saying, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine. She was not fine. She was not fine. And she was hiding scissors in our house. She was having nightmares before going back to school. She was seriously traumatized.
Since then, she's been pulled out of the school and is doing online classes. So far, the school is not commenting on the litigation. Reporting for CBS 21 News, I'm Hallie Jacobs.
I'm National Investigative Correspondent Angie Moreski. Home explosions rocked neighborhoods from coast to coast once again in 2024. As Spotlight on America discovered, 2023 was the deadliest in nearly 20 years for these catastrophic blasts, and that trend shows no signs of stopping. So we're taking a closer look at what's causing home explosions and whether you should be worried about your home. This catastrophic home explosion captured on doorbell video was the deadliest nationwide in 2023, killing 6 people in the suburban neighborhood of Rustic Ridge, just east of Pittsburgh. Another horrific blast in Michigan destroyed a home outside of Detroit, killing 4 family members visiting from Alabama. And another person killed in a massive explosion in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, that leveled a local inn. These are just some of the sudden, devastating explosions that made 2023 the deadliest year since 2004 for gas-fed explosions, with 23 fatalities, more than 4 times higher than the year before. Rich Meyer is a fire explosion expert who's investigated over 500 fires and explosions involving both natural gas and propane. When you are determining the cause of one of these explosions, these massive explosions, how often is it natural gas pipelines involved?
Probably half or more.
Aging infrastructure, old corroded gas pipelines are more likely to crack and leak, increasing the risk, he says, of gas migrating underground into people's homes and causing explosions.
There are lines that have been in place for over 100 years, and they are breaking.
What is the state of our natural gas pipeline infrastructure in the United States?
I would not give it an A, that's for sure. I'd probably give it maybe a C, maybe a C minus.
Besides aging infrastructure, other significant issues that can cause leaks that lead to explosions include construction work, where pipes can be damaged during digging, and malfunctioning equipment. Malfunctioning equipment was the cause of a massive, deadly explosion in 2016 in Silver Spring, Maryland, at the Flower Branch Apartments. 5 adults and 2 children died.
Sometimes when I come out, I think I can smell it.
Isidro Vargas will never forget the terror of that night.
I saw people jumping from the building. It's been terrible, I can tell you.
Investigators concluded a malfunctioning mercury regulator on a gas meter caused the deadly blast. And human error caused a massive explosion here just a few miles away in 2022 at the Friendly Garden Apartments, also in Silver Spring. A maintenance worker doing repairs accidentally cut a gas line instead of a water line.
That one.
Alex Jacquois lives at Friendly Garden.
Boom. And then when I look out through the window, and then I saw the flame.
It felt like a bomb.
Yes.
Jacquois' mother-in-law was hurt, suffering a broken ankle, along with 14 others injured, but miraculously, no one was killed.
It's like a nightmare. Each time there's an alarm, like smoke alarm, you panic.
The National Transportation Safety Board investigates major explosions that lead to fatalities, significant injury, and property loss. But not all explosions are required to be reported to the federal government, making it harder to determine patterns across the country, something investigators like Meyer say is a concern.
Do you think we need to have a nationwide database that tracks these explosions?
Yes, the more information you have, the better armed you are when it comes to fixing the problem.
Whatever the cause, a buildup of gas fumes in your home can be extremely dangerous. Meyer says it takes a very small amount of energy to trigger an explosion. Static electricity from walking across a carpet, even just flicking a light switch, can be enough to set off a blast.
If you smell gas, get out immediately. Don't stop. Don't call 911 while you're still in the home. Leave the home. Take everybody with you.
The pace of catastrophic explosions sadly continues this year, with multiple deaths already. A firefighter killed in that blast that destroyed a home in Sterling, Virginia. 2 children killed in a blast in Missouri, and 2 more killed in another Pittsburgh area blast that left this hole in the ground where the home used to be, plus several more.
If you use gas in your home, one way to protect yourself is to get an in-home gas detector. I got this one on Amazon for $20. All you do is plug it into the wall near a gas appliance. Then, if gas builds up, an alarm sounds warning you to get out. A small investment to potentially save lives. For Spotlight on America, I'm Angie Moreski.
New details about another car theft from a dealership, this time in Lancaster County.
But it is similar to some other things we've been covering over the last month. Thanks for being here with us at 11. I'm Joel D. Smith.
I'm Jasmine Brooks. The owner is telling CBS 21's Maxine Rose that this is the 4th time this happened in just about 10 months.
All right, so Maxine now live at Morgan Automotive with the latest on this and how it might connect to some more. Maxine.
Yeah, actually take a look behind me here at Morgan Automotive. You can see what's left of the damage from just around 1:30 this morning. The fencing all gone in that area, and on the ground it's hard to see right now with the rain, but there's still some shattered glass around here left for the owner of the dealership to clean up. And they tell me today also that they're tired of this happening all over again.
You're watching assets being taken right off your property.
Theft caught on camera. Moments later, a suspect somehow turning a white Chevy Camaro around in the lot, crashing through the white barriers and parking the car on the side of Lancaster Road, with the goal in mind to come back for more.
These are our babies. These are like children to us. We clean them, we detail them, we state inspect them. To watch it literally live as you're trying to get dressed and call 911 is heart-wrenching.
You can see here in the video one of the suspects running to the Camaro once police arrived. Police say the Camaro then took off, leading officers on a chase south down Lancaster Road. But police say they were forced to stop for public safety.
They are very good, and if they want your car, my car, if they want it bad enough, they're going to get it.
This situation, nothing new to Morgan. He says it's an all too common problem, costing multiple dealerships in the area.
It's probably $10,000, $15,000 in damage to property and cars, and the car that was stolen was a $50,000 car.
The cost of security, yet another obstacle left for them to deal with.
They have no fear. I'm sure that they're armed. They come here like they own the place, and I would warn anybody out there not to approach them because they are dangerous people.
They're dangerous people, he says, and that's why he's now talking with many of the other car dealerships here about maybe hiring security detail along the road here, Lancaster Road, to try and help them feel safe and maybe get some more eyes on the area. Reporting in Lancaster County, Maxine Rose, CBS 21 News.
Elise Person joins us outside the Lancaster County government building with more on how this happened and what it means for voters as well.
So in the last week, the Lancaster County Commissioners, they tell us that they received 2 large batches of voter registration applications. And as the election workers were going through them, they started to realize something was a little bit off. So they're now investigating election fraud. But as they're doing that investigation, the county commissioners say this should actually make Lancaster voters even more secure in the integrity of their election.
Lancaster County detectives began investigating the voter registration applications and immediately found applications that were indeed fraudulent.
2,500 voter registration applicants being investigated for fraud in Lancaster County.
Immediately, some of these applications were in the same handwriting, and quite frankly, the signatures were almost identical as well. So that right there is a tip-off.
Other indicators of fraud included inaccuracies with addresses or even fake personal identification on the form as well. Now, the Lancaster County DA says not all the applications contain inaccurate information.
But the individuals listed on the applications informed detectives that they did not request the form, they did not complete the form, and verified that the signature on the form was not theirs.
The DA wouldn't go into detail about any suspects, but she says they have reason to believe this is part of a large-scale canvassing operation dating back to June.
Thus far, of the investigations that we have completed, we have determined that 60% have been fraudulent.
She says there are 2 other counties that have received similar applications. She wouldn't name them, but says her office is working with them.
People should feel confident, really, that we're catching this stuff.
Pennsylvania House Republican leader Brian Cutler released a statement about the election fraud investigation, saying this investigation serves as a stark reminder of the lengths criminals are willing to go to try and impact our electoral process. And while this is an active investigation, Lancaster County commissioners say whoever is behind this will be held accountable.
It is important to find out who it was and make them an example, quite frankly. We can't have this. The message is we're going to catch you.
And the DA says if you feel like you might have been targeted by one of these canvassing schemes, to reach out to her office. She says one way you can know if you were targeted is if a canvasser asked you for your full social security number instead of just the last 4 digits. She says when you reach out to her office, ask to speak with a detective. Reporting in Lancaster County, I'm Elise Person.